So last time we talked, Autumn Volkov, the heir of my legacy challenge, finished her final session of rehab, officially entering recovery from her medication addiction, before revealing the news about her infertility to her childhood bestie turned lover, Shanna Kealoha. After their heart-to-heart, Autumn and Shanna headed back to the Volkov house to hang out for a bit. Clint was busy live streaming once again, and listening to metal music. Didn't see you as the metal type, Clitoris. While Shanna napped in Autumn's bed, Autumn ate some dinner alongside Ezra, Chris, and Rectal Probe, unaware of the surprise awaiting her in the backyard. As a gift for successfully finishing rehab, Christopher built Autumn her own indoor garden. He knows she loves all things outdoorsy, so he figured building her this indoor garden would help her maintain her sobriety and keep her mind off medications. She absolutely loved it and was so excited for the spring season to finally arrive in 2 days. As for Clint, he was really enjoying the metal music blasting on the record player. It was almost like it was speaking to him. Autumn was outside her indoor garden getting to know Patchy while Ezra began to rampage, interrupting her soon after. I kind of don't blame Autumn for not wanting to transition into a werewolf. She used Ezra rampaging as an excuse to hide upstairs with Shanna. She asked her if she wanted to play rock, paper, scissors, minus the rock and paper. Oh well, Autumn, I didn't know you were into that. Christopher was selecting a programming gig and Ezra was cooking his first meal in a long time while Nicole went scavenging, and she found something, one Mooncaster pot shard called Learning. Why did I totally forget about this feature from the werewolf pack? She brought it back home for Christopher to investigate, and he was curious to find more. And upstairs, after woo, some pillow talk, and a shower, Autumn kissed Shanna goodbye before she headed back home to Evergreen Harbor. You know, I feel you, Patchy. Scarecrows need to relax too. While our founder Alexis cleaned the kitchen, Chris began to rampage. Honestly, super rare to see this man rampage. As a semi-newbie Apex, Alexis pacified Chris, her second successful time, slay Miss Girl. And all meanwhile, Edward and Clint were monkeying around in the snow, them developing a new family dynamic, jockisters. Oh my god, I am so sick of this pop-up. But then again, I really don't care about Clint. Fuck it, let's do it. Well shit, I guess Clint's a high school graduate now. I later on regretted this decision, realizing that now, Clint will always be around the house. Not my best moment. Oh hell no, not Edward. He takes one day off my life every time I see him. Edward and Clint then called Chris over to the Moonwood Collective hangout for a favor. Many episodes ago, when Ezra accidentally turned himself into a werewolf, Edward decided that he also wanted to become a werewolf someday, and he was hoping that day would be today. Clint was backing him up, saying that Edward would make a great wolf, and Edward also wanted to unlock his abilities so that he can protect his girlfriend, Hillary Tanaka, since they were in an official relationship. Chris admired his courage and his interest in werewolfism, but said he would rather Edward focus on his studies. He's a C student and is still so young. He has plenty of time to become a wolf. Edward did not like Chris's response and began to yell at him, but Chris wasn't fazed. He had other things on his mind. Back at the house, Edward wasn't taking Chris's no for an answer. He sat down next to Ezra and told him everything about wanting to become a wolf, about wanting to protect Hillary, and about Chris not letting him transition. He was so frustrated. He wanted to become a wolf more than anything, but just didn't know how. But luckily, Ezra did, by mistake. Of course, he let Edward in on the secret. All he had to do was swim in Lumbic Lake on a full moon, which happens to be tonight, to unlock his abilities. But Ezra asked Edward if he was sure he wanted this. Ezra does love being a werewolf and certainly doesn't regret what he did, but he warned Edward that the adjustment is not easy, and that reversing it was extremely difficult. Edward had thought his decision out as a child and was sticking by it. He wanted to become a werewolf and wanted to become one tonight, so it was settled, and together they got up and began walking to Lumbic Lake, Edward as a wolf. This should be interesting.